Okay, good morning, everybody. Welcome to our Amud Yomi Shiur. We're learning Maseches Makkos. We're in Daf Daled Amud Aleph, which means that right now we're still in Gimel Amud Beis on the bottom of the page. Mazel Tov to us, Baruch Hashem. Everything's working. The Zoom, the screen, the background. Baruch Hashem. What a lovely morning. May we be zoichet to see all the captives coming back very, very soon. All the Shvuim. Today we are learning for the captured person, Yarden Ben Pnina, Yarden Bibas, Yarden Ben Pnina. And Ilun Nishmas, my father, Menachem ben Akiva. Us Bashalom Sol Bas Moshe Lerefuas Pninacha Bas Gula Roche Lerefuas Estofu Bas Shoshana Malka Lerefuas La'atzlochas the soldier Yered ben Rochelea B'Soich Sh'ar Chayol Yisrael. The Omar Rav Yehuda Omarav, 4 lines from the bottom of the page. Yeah, the Omar Rav Yehuda Omarav. Yeah, go to the wide lines. The third wide line. Omar Rav Yehuda Omar Rav. We have a collection of statements here of immerse that were said by Rav Yehuda Omar Rav. Then it was challenged by Rav Kahana, and then the answer came from Rava. It's like there's three or threesome. Yeah, Rav Yehuda Omar Rav or Omar Shmuel. Rav Yehuda was the Talmud of both. Challenged by Rav Kahana, another Talmud of Rav, very close. And then the answer, the defense comes from Rava. Okay, yeah. Shloishes logim mayim shenofel letochen chotov shel yain. Let's just give a small introduction. Yeah, Shloishes logim mayim says Rav Yehuda Omar Rav, how much water she'uvin disqualify a mikveh? Let me explain. Yeah, you can listen to me. Yeah, says basically that I'm sorry. Stories like this. A mikveh, as we all know, has to be of rainwater, right? Rainwater, could be other water, rainwater, natural water, rainwater. Very good. Now, how much water does the mikveh have to contain? 40 saw, right? 40 saw. Very nice. Once you have 40 saw in the mikveh, afterwards you can add as much water from the tap water. Maim she'uvin. She'uvin means water drawn by man. Drawn water by man, which means from the tap, taken from the well, by Rivka Imenu, whatever. Yeah, the water comes from wherever. Once you have 40 she'uvi. Once you have 40 saw. Now, whatever, right, that's the right word. Now, let's say you don't have 40 saw, you have just below 40 saw, and you have completed the mikveh, the 40 saw, with 3 logim of maim she'uvim. 3 logim is not much. Yeah, 3 logim is a few liters only. If they came into the water, into the otherwise kosher mikveh, what happens then? It's possible. So imagine yourself in your mind's eyes, yeah? Imagine yourself, you have a mikveh that's just below 40 saw, and you added a jug, yeah? I think, yeah? Let's say you have a jug of shlosh lugim maim she'uvin, you added that to the mikveh, which is missing shlosh lugim. So this is what made up, that's what completed to be 40 saw. Bad news. It's bad. It puzzles, disqualifies. Rashi says it's only the Rabbanon. It's a big machlokes rishonim whether the Issa is the Isa or the Rabbanon. In any fact, it's possible. Yeah, stay away from that mikveh. It doesn't make you any purer than before. Now, I want to ask you a question. What happens if I took 3 logim of wine? Yeah, let's say I completed the mikveh with wine. It looks like wine is okay. Dafka maim shuvim is a problem, but by wine, they were not goizer. There's a question, how much wine can you put already? Half, less than half. It's a sugya somewhere else. But shlosh lugim, the same amount, that like measures like a jug of shlosh lugim, that complete 40 cell is much more than a lug. Yeah, cell is much more than a lug, yeah. And therefore, cell is a 24 askelab, it's 24 lugim. The kids are, what happens then? You have shlosh lugim of wine, that is fine. Okay? What happens with the mixture of water and wine? Those shlosh lugim, that jug, the disqualifying posel problem maker of shlosh lugim. There's a bit of wine, a bit of water. What would be the halacha over there? Let's see. Now let's read again. Shloshes lugim mayim. You have shlosh lugim of water, not the case that I described with a mixture. You have shlosh lugim of mayim. I want to ask you right now. Shlosh lugim, if they fall into a mikveh, is that good or bad? Bad. The mikveh is not yet full. Okay. So now, shenofel letoichon kortov shel yain. into the water before the water fell into the mikveh, into the water that contained shlosh logim, came in an extra, it's very important to know, and top, I'm stressing something very important now, on top of the existing shlosh logim, there's kotov. Kotov is an eighth of something. It's a very small amount, a small amount of wine, but the wine is real dark red. Like this real, dry, red, very red wine. Yeah, umare'en kemare yain. Oh, the appearance, the looks of the water looks like wine. Although the amount is very small, and you have an entire amount of water that disqualifies. But there's a trick over here. This water that's otherwise possible mitzad the amount, but you added some red wine, and it looks like wine. Every child can see that's red. And then v'noflu mikveh. This water fell into the mikveh. Why noflu? Because water is always plural in Hebrew. They fell into the water, the mayim, the shlosh logim, plus loipaslu. Wow, they don't disqualify it. Why? What made it all of a sudden kosher? Says Rashi, it's all about the looks. It's all about the facade. Says Rashi lo paslu zil basal chazusa. You have to follow the looks, the appearance. The yain ain't a pasal as a mikveh. Wine does not pasal the mikveh. In other words, since wine is okay, anything that looks like wine pasals there does not pasal, does not disqualify. You really have water. Ask a scientist, I have 3 logim of water. Feels like water, tastes like water. And what is it? 3 logim of water. But on top of the 3 logim, you have a bit of wine. They gave it the looks of wine. It's all about the looks. Rashi also points out that it's the Rabbanon. I assume the Rabbanon were not goizer in such a case. 3 logim mayim. In other words, from now on, we're going to talk about ticking the 2 boxes, ticking negatively, 2 disqualifications, 2 bad things. In other words, according to the Rav, according to the same B'Shem Rav, in order to disqualify, to be the bad factor, to disqualify the mikveh, you need to have the amount of water, and that you do. You have 3 logim. The water also has to look like water. If it looks like wine, therefore 1 box wasn't ticked. Therefore, it looks like wine. That saves the day. That's a saving grace that looks like wine. That concept is what we're going to follow now through Hefesh. Okay? Maskif Rav Kahana. As I promised you, Rav Kahana is, as always, on the attacking the statement of Rav Yehuda Omarav. What's the difference between water that's been tinted with wine and the one that's a bit dyed with color? Let's say you had some water and you added some paint from the hardware store, red paint, detnan. Look what it says over there. It says in the Mishnah, Rabbi Yossi Omer, mei tseva poislin es mikveh b'shloshes lugin. You have water mixed with color, so it's really shlosha lugim of b'shloshes lugin. You have 3 lugim of water. Hey, that's bad. But it looks green because I added some tambur, a paint of green to that. So now what? The water looks very green. Then what? Green, then disqualifies. So you see, you're wrong. How can Rav, right, argue on the Tana? Yeah, Rabbi Yossi, why does Rav argue on the Tana? Or maybe you're wrong. Maybe your statement, B'Shem Rav, is not right. Amale Rove says Rove. Again, Rove is in a defense. It's always his job. Amale Rove, it's not the same. Rove differentiates between wine and color. Why? Hasam, over there, when we disqualified it, Maya Detziva Mikri. Over there, it's called colored water. It's the water of the color. Be'etzem, it's called color, but it's water. It's water that happens to be colored water that has a bit of green color, green dye, green paint. So the whole water looks green, but it's water. It's defined as water. It's not called a different mashke. Over here, it's different. That's why over there it's possible, because it's really mine shuvim shlosh lugim mine. The fact that the colored, who cares? But over here, chamra meziga mikri. Over here, it's called wine that's mixed up. It's mixed wine. In other words, because I have water with a little bit of wine, wine is called, I want to explain something, which I think that's a lumdus over here. Wine is a different type of mashkim. How many liquids are recognized in halacha as liquids? 7. Zibin mashkim. One of them is wine. Yad shachat dam. There's sheva mashkim, 7 mashkim. One of them is wine. If I add a bit of wine and the color of the wine, the aspect of the wine is what's overpowering, then I can define that mixture as wine. even though mitzad, the amount of wine is a very small amount, but it's so dominant that it's dominating the color, then it can have mixed wine. It's a very small percentage. Like today, right? Some people add a bit of concentrate juice and then add a lot of water. Still tastes like apple juice. Feels like apple juice. Same thing over here. You can call it wine. Once halachically it has a shame wine, it's kosher. It's no problem. The she'en, even though it's 3 logim of water, really, it's really a Purim custom. But that's we define it as wine. The shaken, but it's water. There's no such thing as colored water. Is not one of the shiva mashkim. It's water. The water is colored. Right. So what? Who cares if they're colored? If they're from I don't know where? So it doesn't matter. And therefore, that's in other words, why? But again, let's summarize. Rav is still of an opinion, supported by Rova, that Rabbi Rav, that if you have water that's shloisha lugim, that's bad. That's already a bad start. I see the guy approaching the mikveh with shloisha lugim mine, she'uvim, everything's working against us. But if you add a little bit of wine, boom, and the color is wine, even though the amount is a bad amount, but the color is good, so one box you ticked, one box you didn't tick, then it's okay. It goes according to the chazusa. It goes according to the way you view, the way the color, that's what matters. That's what Rav says. Okay? Ad kan, all is good. Absolutely. It cancels out the effect. You define it very well. Exactly. Frag the Gemara, Da'atani Rabbi Chia. Now, Rav is seemingly arguing on his uncle, his beloved uncle, Rabbi Chia. Frag the Gemara, Da'atani Rabbi Chia. Rabbi Chia has in his brisa, Rabbi Chia is a master of brisas, Rabbi Chia Rabbi Chia, he says, Hoirido es mikveh. What Hoirido es mikveh? Rabbi Chia said that in exactly the same case, Shloisha lugimayim she'uvin, plus a little bit of wine, already we said it's good. No, Rabbi Chia says it's not good. They take down the mikveh, says Rashi, mechsheroi l'ptul. In other words, they take down the mikveh from its glory, from its kashrus. The mikveh that has this 3 lugim plus color, also disqualified, says Rabbi Chia. Is Rav arguing on his uncle Rabbi Chia? Is that so? Is there an argument? Answers the Gemara. By the way, Rav Tanu Polig is only an ambulance. SOS. We try not to say Rav Tanu Polig. Only we have no other choice. It's not unfortunate recently. Amar Rav Eloi Kasha. Says Rav Eloi Kasha. It's not difficult. Why? Machloikes Tanoim. Very nice. Machloikes Rav and Rabbi Chia. Each one basically followed the opinion of a different Tana. Ha Rabbi Yochanan ben Nuri. Ha Rabbanon. We're going to see now Machloikes between Rabbi Yochanan ben Nuri and Rabbanon. Rabbi Yochanan ben Nuri is followed by Rav, and Rabbi Chia is like Rabbanon. Detnan. Now this Mishnah has one word that makes all the difference, so follow the Mishnah closely. It says that the Mishnah in Mikvos Perek Zayin, it says Detnan. It says over there, Shloishes lugin maim, 3 lug of maim, as we spoke about, Choser kotov. It's not our case, guys. You have shloisha lugim. I have a mikveh that's missing a little bit. Now I have a jug here. Imagine yourself, this jug is mine, but it's missing a little bit. It's shloisha lugim, which would have been bad, but it's minus a few drops. It's a bit less than shloisha lugim. Okay. That is of itself. What happens if we put that into the mikveh? Doesn't disqualify. Does not disqualify. Only shloisha full whole lugim disqualify. But if you have a little bit less than shloisha lugim, you have 2.99 lugim, then we say that's not big enough to passel. So far, no, put it in the mikveh. Oh, now they have a bit of wine that fell into them, and the wine now completed it to be shloisha lugim, not our case. Umaren kemar they now, this water fell into the mikveh. You're looking like wine, v'noflu mikveh. It looks like wine, but guys, here you have what? You have both advantages. First of all, you don't have the shiur of water. It's less than a shiur, and also doesn't look like water, which the church wouldn't even make a difference. And this got to business of less than disqualification shiur, plus looking like wine, fell into the mikveh. Then loy paslu. What can you derive from here? It's not even a chiddush. Of course, it doesn't have the shiur, it doesn't have the looks. But what's the evidence screaming diuk from the Mishnah? That Luyat Suyar, I have 3 lugim, 3 whole lugim of mayim from the tap shuvim, and on top of that I would add wine, then they would disqualify. Obviously, that's a clear, right? When you don't have the shiur and you have the looks of the wine, then it's good. Mashma, when you have the shiur of 3 logim, so even though you added on top of that wine, too little, too late. You're playing games with me? Who cares? It looks like wine. That's against Rav. That's against Rav. That's a Chabchia. That's a Chabchia. Chabchia is supported by Tanakama. And he says, I don't care about the looks. I'm not saying shtiyot. He says, yeah, that what? You have shlosh lugim of mayim. Finish. Puzzle. It looks like wine. Very nice. Let's eat chazir and make it look like chicken. What do you say? I'm not saying myself. I'm being their advocate. And that's the opinion of Tanakama, supported by Bechia. Before we go to the other opinion, comes the second case. What happens? There comes the second case of the Mishnah. What happens when you have something that is not water, but looks more or less like water? Bechein, that's the next case. Gimel lugin maim chosel kotov. You have shlosh lugim of maim missing a kotov. Again, you have almost the amount of water that would disqualify, but not completely. Shenofa letoichon kotov cholov. Cholov means what in Hebrew? I think it means milk, no? So let's say you have now a little bit of milk, yeah, in a whole drop of water. It looks a bit cloudy, a bit murky, but you can definitely not say this is milk. You'd say it's water, not Mei Eden. It's rough tap water, that's all. And mar'en kemare mayim. They look like water. It looks like water. It's water with a bit of milk. V'noflu mikveh. That fell into the mikveh. Lo yipaslu. They don't disqualify. That's not even a chiddush. Why? Because you have less than shiur. You have less than shloisha lugim, and therefore it's okay. The looks is the looks of water. So even though it looks like water, right? You have 3 lugim composed of 2.99 water, a little bit of milk that looks like water, but it's not water. It's not really water. Therefore, loy paslu, because really you don't have water. Again, I don't care about the looks. I care about the content. You have to understand a bit of chiddush. I'll prepare you now. The seifa, one could say otherwise. One could say the looks, sometimes they help to make it kosher, sometimes make it possible. If I have shlosh lugim of water and something that looks like water, milk, maybe it's possible. And the Kama says, leave me alone. I'm not chitzoniistic. I don't care about looks. I care about the real look. As long as I have less than shlosh lugim, givaldik, very good. It's not poison. Even though you added red stuff, white stuff, green stuff, colorful stuff, do whatever you want. Less than shlosh lugim, the world is yours. Shlosh lugim, you have shlosh lugim of real pure tap water? Bad news. I don't care you added on top of that colors and wine and I don't know what else. That's Tanakama, clearly against Rav and pro Rav Chia. That's Tanakama. Here comes the Seifa. Now here comes the opponent. Rabbi Yochanan ben Nuri. Rabbi Yochanan ben Nuri, Oimer, loud and clear, loud and clear. Wow. Everything follows the mare, the looks. It's all about the appearance. That's what the Chomim don't like. Which means, says Rabbi Yochanan ben Nuri, Rabbi Yochanan ben Nuri says, I care about the looks of it. Which means Rabbi Yochanan ben Nuri would say that by wine, says Rashi outright, let's say you have 3 lugimayim, that's bad, 3 lugimayim from the tap, and don't put that into the mikveh. But I add a little bit of wine, and it looks very winey, yeah, it looks very red like a Chardonnay, maybe a bit tinted because it's weak. We can clearly see the red color. Says Rabbi Yochanan ben Nuri, Gesundheit. You put it in the mikveh, nothing happened. Why? Because lugim of water that looks like wine. So we define it as wine, as we said before. It's not colored water, but rather it's diluted wine. Very diluted, but diluted nevertheless. Because it looks like wine, has a bit of wine. Yeah, it talks like a duck, it smacks like a duck, it must be a duck. And therefore here too, this is like wine and it's okay. What would Rabbi Yochanan ben Nuri say about the seifa? That's another question we'll deal with later. Because sometimes, as I hinted before, Yochanan ben Nuri is possibly really telling me also a chumrah. Why? Let's say you have in the seifa, what did you have? 2.95, let's say, water. Okay, that's good, that's fine. And added a bit of milk. So mitzad the water, it's not pure water. If you don't care about the looks, you care about the real, what the scientist sees in the, in the lab, in the microscope, I see most of the water and bit of, so then it's okay. But if you go by the looks, you have shlosh lugim of water, and you also have shlosh, and some of it is fake water. It's something that looks like water, which is milk, so that would disqualify. Rabbi Yochanan ben Nuri goes lechumra or lekula, he cares about the looks. Who's the follower of Rabbi Yochanan ben Nuri? Rav. So very good. Why are you attacking Rav? Everyone's happy. Rav just paskened Rabbi Yochanan ben Nuri. We care about the looks, and Rav Chia paskened like Tanakama. We don't care about the looks. Very good. Okay. Correct the Gemara. The Gemara now has a question. Okay, very nice, and that's what Rav wants to tell us. Everything is fine. Correct the Gemara. It's not so simple because there are two ways to learn that Mishnah. You okay? Yeah. You're not okay. I mean, you're okay when I ask the question. Yeah. Question time. Mm-hmm. Correct the Gemara. The ha mi bai bailer of Pope. What you assume is the right version of the Mishnah. You have a certain way of reading the Mishnah, and according to that way, Rav only follows Rabbi Yochanan ben Nuri. But the Gemara says, why is it so simple to you? You Rove, but mi bai bailer of Pope. Rav Pope has two different ways of reading the Mishnah. Do you write at the very top of their page the words Chosel Kotov? These are the words which make or break the whole Mishnah. Chosel Kotov or not Chosel Kotov, as we're going to explain. The Bayer of Papa asks the following question. He's debating how to learn the Mishnah, how to have the right gears of the Mishnah. Bayer of Papa, Rav Tani, what's the way Rav learned our Mishnah? How does Rav read the Mishnah? What was the gears of Rav that had in his Besmedrash? Does he say Chosel Kotov Bereisha? Did he learn in the Reisha of the Mishnah regarding wine? Chosel Kotov, like we said, you have shloisha logim minus, right? And that's why the wine doesn't make any difference. It's kosher, because when you have less than shloisha logim, no problem. Abel shloisha logim the tanakama pasli. But if you have shloisha logim of water, and on top of that you add some wine, too little, too late, too nothing, doesn't help. It disqualifies, and that's tanakama, right? Also, Rabbi Yochanan, meaning Rabbi Yochanan ben Nuri, argues on Tanakama, very good. Says Rabbi Yochanan ben Nuri, no. I say that the mare is what matters, also lakula. And if you have 3 full logim of mayim, and on top of that some wine, but now the 3 logim look like wine, it's kosher. Very good. That's just repeating. That's one way of reading the Mishnah. The Rav, Omer Rabbi Yochanan. According to this Girsa, the only opinion the Rav follows Rabbi Yochanan ben Nuri. They are the only ones in the world, Rabbi Yochanan ben Nuri, followed by Rav, that the looks matter, the color matters. Here comes the news. Rav Papa debates, maybe there's another way to read the Mishnah. Maybe Rav, he's debating how did Rav learn the Mishnah. Maybe Rav learned, Loitani Chosel Kotov Bereisha. Wow. That makes a huge difference. Listen to this. Rav has a tzad to say, Rav Papa and Rav has a tzad to say, that erase the words. Yeah, take a pencil. Don't really do that. Yeah, let's take a pencil to the very, very top of the page. It's very easily located. And cross off the words, right through the words Chosel Kotov. What would be? Shloisha lugim mayim, full shloisha lugim. Shloisha lugim, entire shloisha lugim, 100% shloisha lugim, Pinofel Kotov yain, loy paslu. So Tanakama says when you have shloisha lugim, full, plus a bit of wine that fell into and a Purim costume now looks like wine, says Tanakama, loy paslu. So Tanakama also believes that you follow the mare. Tanakama also believes you follow the mare, right? In the Reisha. So what's the argument between Tanakama and Rabbi Yochanan? So what's Rabbi Yochanan telling me? You follow the mare. The Rabbi Yochanan ben Nuri continue. Ki poliga seifa with the polig. Now we're going to hit the nail on the head. What did I tell you before about the seifa? The seifa says that Tanakama in the seifa does learn Chosel Kotov. Tanakama in the seifa says Chosel Kotov means I'm back now to the third line, to the second line on the top of the page. I recommend you follow me. Put one finger here, one finger there. The second case is mine, 3 lugim missing a little bit. A bit of milk fell into it. It looks like water. It fell into the mikveh. They didn't disqualify. Why didn't they disqualify? Because what do you have here? What's the problem? I have 2.95 water. Good. The fact you also have milk, who cares? I don't care. Good. That's what the Nakama says. Says Rabbi Yochanan ben Nuri, no, I'm more extreme than you in Hakol Hoylech Achar Amare. and I say that you also disqualify because of the mare. Rabbi Yochanan ben Nuri says, no, if I have three logim of what? Of water, and some of the water is not real water. It's milk that looks like water. Ah, he says, I say now that it is really posul. It's posul. Why? Because it's as if you have three lugim of water. Just like you say, if it looks like wine, it makes it kosher. Yeah, water that looks like wine is kosher. The non-water that looks like water makes it posul. That 2% of milk that joined the party, they are like, trespassers. They came into the riding on the party of the water, and they're the 2% of milk. Baruch Hashem, very nice. They managed to invade the water territory that look like water, and now they're through lugim of water and fake water together disqualify. That's Machlokas Yochanan ben Nuri. However, everyone agrees, both Rabbi Yochanan ben Nuri and Chachamim agree that if they have three lugim of water and wine added on top of that, according to the current version, everyone agrees that it's kosher because it looks like wine. And according to this, the Rav, I'm continuing the Gemara, the Rav Doma Kidivre HaKoil. According to this, Rav follows everybody. Rav is not limited to one opinion. He agrees to everybody. He follows. Why? Because according to this Girsa, they only argued about water that looks like water within the shlosh lugim. But everyone agrees that if they have shlosh lugim complete and an added wine, boom, now it looks like wine, everyone agrees that it's kosher and it's okay and it's tahar. And everyone can go to that mikveh. Very nice. Therefore, Rav, according to that, follows everybody. So why are you telling me? Why are you mitzamtzem? Rav Papa says, we're asking Rav Papa on Rav, why are you telling me that Rav only follows Rabbi Yochanan ben Nuri? Maybe Rav follows everybody. That's a time on Rav. Look, Rav Papa has two ways of reading. The obvious answer is, thank you very much. Who's Rav and Amoira? Who's Rav Papa and Amoira? Does an Amoira owe another Amoira something? No. Answers the Gemara, live with it. Rav Papa mi baile, Rav pshitale. Thank you very much. Rav Papa had the question, do you read the Mishnah one way or the other? And there was one way Rav Papa read the Mishnah to tell me that lekula alma, you have the shlosh lugimayim, and the aspect the looks makes a difference to kosherize it. That was Rav Papa that everyone holds. Rav doesn't think that. Rav believes that really no way of reading the Mishnah that way. And really the Mishnah according to Rav is chasel kotov. And Tanakama holds if you have shlosh lugim, it is definitely possible even if you added the water. Very nice. The kids are machlokas ameroim how to learn the Mishnah, but Rav would definitely be okay. Rav would either be okay according to everybody, according to Rav Papa, or Rav would be okay only according to Yochanan ben Nuri, according to Rav. Amar Rabbi Yosef. Yeah, question. Okay. Weiter. Oops. Okay, let's continue. Now we're continuing to discuss the same Mishnah vis-a-vis Rav. Okay, Omar Rav Yosef. Says Rav Yosef regarding this topic, this Mishnah, Lo ishmi'a li hoshmaitza. He says, I never heard, says Rav Yosef, he says, I'm a Talmid of Rav Yehuda, right? Rav Yehuda had many Talmidim, right? Who are the Talmidim of Rav Yehuda so far? Yeah, we had Rav Yehuda, he was a Talmid of Rav and Shmuel, right? Now comes Rav Yosef and says, I'm a Talmid of Rav Yehuda, and I never heard him saying that. Lo shmeli hashmaitza. You're telling me new things over here. You're telling me my own Rebbe, with Rav Yehuda, quoted Rav, is saying that shlosh lugim, that look like wine, and then has that look, he's okay. I never heard him saying that, and he is my Rebbe. Amar la Abaye. Abaye is now reminding Rav Yosef, At amart lo ni'alan. You said it to us, Rebbe. You know, Rav Yosef Misken was sick and he forgot all his learning. Abai many times is correcting Rav Yosef in the Gemara, challenging or correcting, because Rav Yosef was blind, and also at some point he had some kind of amnesia. I'm not sure what the issue was, but he had a period in his life when he was completely out of it, and then he got back to his learning, and he forgot many things from his glorious past, and then he has to, reboot the computer. He has to, refresh his memory, and Abai helps him to refresh his memory, the Heilige Rav Yosef. So basically, says Abai, I'm sorry, Rabbi, you forgot. You taught this to us in your distant past. And this is also how you taught it, because you have a question how to learn it, right? Is Rav timing that he's following Rabbi Yochanan ben Nuri, or does Rav claim that he follows everybody? Look how you taught this to us. You said, the Rav lo itani chasar kotov bereisha. We said that Rav does not learn the word chosor kotov, which means what? That the Rabbi Yochanan a seifa polig. Rabbi Yochanan ben Nuri really argues only on the seifa. Let's revise. Well, let's just say the Rav doma kidivra hakol, and Rav follows everybody. Basically, like the second opinion. Let's revise. Let's revise. Yeah. What did he say? This is the maskana, what Rav Yosef really told his Talmidim before he got ill. What did he say? That really the Mishnah does not say chosel kotov, meaning the Mishnah talks about in the Reisha 3 full entire 100% mayim she'uvim from the tap water, shlosh logim, not one drop less. And says the Mishnah in the Reisha that if wine fell on top of what? Into 3 logim, it's kosher, it's okay. That's Rav for you. And of course, the Yochanan ben Nuri agrees to that. Oh, so Rav follows everybody. So what did Yochanan ben Nuri argue about? He argued about the Seifa. The Seifa is trickier. The Seifa we speak about shlosh lugim minus a few drops, and the milk is what completed it to be shlosh lugim. So the Tanakama says, "Gesundheit, gewaltig, very good. Yeah, well, let's do shlosh lugim. It's fine." Says the Yochanan ben Nuri, no, guys. I'm more into looks than you are. I said the looks doesn't always make it kosher. Sometimes makes it possible because you have shlosh lugim, and some of the shlosh lugim is milk that looks like water. Then you have shlosh lugim of water, and some things that look like water. They make a bad shidduch. It's all 3 lugim together are water or the likes of it or the looks of it. Possible. And the Talmud says we don't go that far. But Lamaisa regarding Rav, everyone agrees. Okay, Rav follows all the opinions. The Omar of Yehuda Omar Rav comes now another statement. Omar of Yehuda Omar Rav. This is now also to do with mikveh. This one will not be challenged by Rav Kahana, but it's another statement of Yehuda Omar Rav to do with mikveh. So I assume that I just explained. We just explained with all the respect. We explained very clearly what it's doing over here. Omar Yehuda Omar Rav, challenged by Rav Kahana, and getting a reply, defense by Rava. That's the common denominator. That's the common denominator. Many, many times the Gemara gives you different memras that are very different in content, but they're similar in regarding basically the people who mentioned it. Yeah? The Rabbanim, the Amoraim who said it, that's a common denominator. You have a barrel full of water. That's Rashi's version. The barrel is full of water. Which water? Water, obviously, sheuvim. Shenoflo leyam godol. It fell into the ocean, fell into the sea. One barrel, boom, falls into the ocean. So now you have the water that's inside the barrel, and you have the water that's in the ocean. So you're going to tell me that sooner or later, all the water is going to get mixed up. But I would stress sooner or later. I don't know how quick that happens, but there is a point in time in which the water in the barrel stays in the barrel. I guess as I'm going to we're talking ocean. It's not a wavy place. It's not Hawaii. Imagine yourself some kind of little bay. The water is quite still, and the water that's inside the barrel, that's inside the ocean, may still be contained in that place, right? So now, okay, no problem godol. Sham loy also l'tvila. Whoever does tvila in the barrel there, it makes a tvila over there. The tvila doesn't apply. The tvila is disqualified. Why? We're concerned of shlosh lugim to be in one place. One would ask a question: who cares about shlosh lugim? You have an entire ocean. It's more than 40 saw. What are you talking about? Says Rashi, one of the gzeres in Masechet Shabbos Daf Yud Gimel. Remember the Yud Ches Dovo? There are 18 different gzeres that Beth Shammai made, and they kind of forced outnumbered Basila to agree to them. Many of them Tuma V'Tara, and one of them is what? One of them is the person is not allowed to be toivel in Maim Shuvin. A person cannot be toivel, right, and wash in Maim Shuvim. In other words, if you went to Tvila and then you washed yourself by a shower or by bath, different ways, that's disqualified. So even if you hit the ocean first and you're tahor, and after, imagine yourself you head nose diving, you head jumping into the water. Even if you hit the ocean first, I'm tahor, I'm in the ocean, the sea makes me cold. But then I nose dive into the barrel. So in the barrel, I'm taking a bath in my bathtub in my house, because that's a separate unit. And if I had the mikveh and after the mikveh I had a bath, The Chomim said that makes you Tome again. You know why? Back then, Rav Bivai Barabai explains in Masechet Shabbos Daf Yudalef Amud Aleph, he says the problem is people would would be toivel in mikveh that was very murky, very muddy water. Excuse the language, of a stunken water. And what? And then they would go home to have a bath or a shower, not at home. The people would think, you know what makes you kosher? Not the mikveh, which is dirty, but the nice spa of a shower and a bath, the modern one, the nice clean one. And that's what made the gzera that whoever goes into mikveh and then to the sheuvim, he will be tame at least to be tame the truma. You make a tuma tome. You'll be rich on the tuma. No, both shower and bath. They're two different zeros, similar. Yeah. Therefore, you're not allowed to go to bath or the shower the same day after mikveh. Not today. Not women or men today. Men for sure not. But it doesn't apply today. But then it applied. So according to Rashi, that's a problem. That's the chash rosh shavu b'mayim shuvim posel l'satruma. Very nice. So now we say what? Says the Gemara, chayshinan l'shlosh logim shlo b'makom echad. We don't know. Maybe the water got mixed, maybe it didn't get mixed. Lamaisa, we're concerned, maybe all the water is in one place. So far I'm explaining Rashi. The davka liyam godol. That's only true regarding the ocean, the kaima. Water, as I said, in the ocean, I'm not talking where it's very wavy and moving all the time. Yeah, in more quieter places in the sea, the water is kai v'kaima. They stand where they are. They stand still water, as we call them, still water. Aval nahara be'alma. When you talk about a river where the water washes away everything, we're not concerned about that. We're not concerned about the water staying in the same place. We assume that if it's in a river where the water is much more in movement, then we are not concerned, and we assume that the Maim Shuvim were drifted away, were washed away, and now it's all mixed up, and you can even go into the Chavis, I guess a few seconds later, a minute later, I don't know, you can jump in, no problem, because the river washes away the water. Another brisa to support what we said. Chavis malea yain. This is a different one. This is to do with us. A chavis malea yain, right? You have a chavis full of wine. Shenof lo le'am godol, fell into the big sea. Atavel sham loy osel tvila. Chayshinan l'shlosh lugin sheuvin shloi b'mokom echod. Now we don't really say sheuvin, we say wine, which means the chash is as follows. Yeah, let's say you have wine, a barrel of wine, literally. Yeah, that fell into the Amagodol, into the great sea, the big sea, then don't be troubled over there. Why? As much as wine does not passel this and doesn't passel that, but if you travel into the wine, it's a problem. Let's say the wine contained itself somehow. Let's say it's in a big, quite sturdy and, a strong sealed barrel. The top is open, but inside there's wine. If you jump straight into the wine, you travel in wine, you're not traveling in the ocean, you travel in the wine. And then enachinami with choshesh, I don't know how the girsa works with sheuvin, the choshesh that the wine is there. In other words, even if you're not sure about the looks, if you had wine 2, 3, 4 minutes ago, I'm not sure about the time frame, yeah? And you jump into there with choshesh, that you don't say that in 1 second all the wine was drifted away and was mixed up with all the water in the ocean. No. The choshesh, maybe there's a concentration of wine over there. And as much as wine doesn't pass on mikveh, in the Pacific Ocean is much bigger than one tiny barrel of wine. But if you right now travel in the wine, it is a problem. Kach mashma from Rashi. So that's the chiddush. Meaning, what's the common denominator? Just like by Maim She'uvin, Choshesh, when it's standing still, so too by wine, Choshesh, that the wine is standing still and the wine is still there. Let's say after the person went into that mikveh of wine, into that barrel of wine, like in the middle of the sea, and then a kikal shel truma, a loaf of bread of truma, made out of truma, wheat and barley and spelt. Which bread you like? Spelt? Okay, spelt truma, bread made out of spelt truma, fell into the wine over there. That bread is tome. Why is it tome? Because, like in Ruchnias, either you go up or you go down. When that person jumped into the wine barrel, not only he didn't become Tor, what happened now? If really it's true, we're not sure. If it's true that the wine stayed there contained, why did he go to the mikveh? He's not on the beach, spending, wasting his time. He's Tomeh. He touched the sheret or meitzah shechvazera, nida, avodah zara. He's gone because he's tummy. He didn't become purified by the wine. So what did he do? He made the wine tummy. The wine is not tummy. So if he's out of the water, and now a piece of bread fell into the wine there, the bread becomes tummy also. The bread becomes tummy. Kikol shel truma. Frag the Gemara, my v'chen ma'u. V'chen, yeah, excuse my v'chen. What's the chiddush? Of course, obviously, if the wine is tummy, it's matame the truma. Very good. What's the shala? What's the chiddush? And says the Gemara, ma the tema. It's not the same. Why? I would have said awesome over there regarding the men. Ukigavra achazoke. Over there, as we saw many times in Kiddushin, chazoke, chazoke, chazoke. The man, when he started his story here, he was tummy. I'm not sure. Oy, was it trouble with wine or with in water? Make the man muchzak the way he was. He was tummy up until now. He's not going to mikveh for fun. He's going for tahara. Let's maintain his status. What's chazaka? Maintain as what is tummy. Ocha ukitruma chazaka. But when the bread of truma is usually tahar. According to truma is nitma, he's really stuck. So with the truma, which is tahar, you don't know if it became Tomer or not Tomer. Maybe make the Truma Tahor. Maintain its good status of Tahara. Maybe that's what I would have said. Kamash Malana don't say that. Kamash Malana don't say that. Kamash Malana, the Chash is so severe. We say no. We're choshesh all the way that the wine stayed there. It's a strong chashash that even overrides the chazaka of the Truma. And anything that either has chazaka Tahara or chazaka Tuma will always be affected badly. The man, we assume, is not Tor, and he probably was metame the wine. Yes. Therefore, the wine who's assumed to be tame is metame weiter, the kikal shel truma, the bread. Adkan Rashi. Now let's see Tosfos. Yes, good. Right. Tosfos, I don't know if we'll read all the words of Tosfos, but Tosfos says, let's start Tosfos. Omar Vida Marav Chavis Malay. Yeah, that's the first case. In the second part of the Amud, a person is going to the mikveh. What kind of mikveh? Goes to the ocean. Otherwise, just an aside, I know that some people came up with a brilliant idea. It's summertime, and some people still go on holiday. If a young couple goes on holiday and she wants to go to mikveh, the sea is not a solution. Although me'ikar din, the ocean is a good mikveh, but it's already a mefurish gemara in Nida that says that namal or namel is a port. A woman is not allowed to lechatchila be toivel in the sea because of two reasons. First of all, she's ashamed to even see her. She's embarrassed. It's open space. And also because the mud, it's not nicely tiled like our mikvahs, and maybe the mud is going to start creating chatzitza, interruption. So therefore, I mean, I'm not a person, the Shulchan Aruch also says it. It's halacha that's followed in Shulchan Aruch. But Meikar Adin, the ocean is a good mikveh. Yeah, this is the man. And he goes to the mikveh and he wants to in the ocean. And what's in the ocean now? A chovis. Somebody just dropped, boom, into the ocean, a chovis full of regular tap water. So what did we say? Dangerous. Don't be toivel over there. You may be toivel in the shlosh logim, and not in the toivel before in the good ones, and now you toivel in the bad ones, in the shuvim. It's like taking a bath. At best, it's like taking bath after the mikveh, which is also disqualifying. Yeah, the kuntres says the girsa chovis melamayim. The komer lo so l'tvil mishumayim sheuvin. Taisus is saying because it's sheuvin, that's why the tvila is not good. Taisus was learning in Rashi. I'm not sure I understood Rashi. Taisus sounds as if the problem is you toivel in dead water. You toivel in mayim sheuvin. In other words, this water is not mixed with the rest. That's another pshat. But that's Taisus says that's what Rashi means. There's a discussion about it. But basically, when we said that you have ocean of 40 saw, and on top of that you have mayim, they have to be mixed. But if it's contained in a separate container, then it's a problem. Yeah, you have mayim. Imagine yourself there's a women's mikveh of just mayim shomim, rainwater 40 saw. Yeah, and then a lady comes in with a bucket of water from the sponge, and she sticks it in, but separately. And the other lady goes inside. You're not traveling the good water. You're traveling shuvim. Right? It's a very small lady. Right? Says Tosis, I don't think that's true. Why? Basically, Tosis' main question is as follows. Did it ever occur to you, how do you make water that's tome? How do you purify water? I'm not joking. You have water. You have a bucket of water, a jug of water was in the house of a tome, of Tmemes, touched by sheretz. What do you do then? What? It's tummy. It needs to go to mikveh. It's not tahara. I get your sense of humor, but okay, fine. The kids are what? No, you do hashaka. Maybe the other ways. I'm not a mumche. You mix it a little bit. You make the water touch what? Yeah. That's one way. True. You take the jug of water. Do you want to? And you make the water of the jug touch the water of the mikveh. You put it in the mikveh next to the mikveh in the sign, and then the two types of water touch each other a little bit. Make sure the mikveh is clean, and then your water is good to go. Yeah, but one touching the other, then it's all good. That's not exact. You're mixing a little bit. Excuse the pun. You're not wrong. You're not wrong yet. Today they have the source of my make shomim, and there's a chibur, yeah, zriya or hashoko, the ways of chiburim and echnami to connect the source of real make shomim, the hidden one, to the mikveh you can see. True, true. Here I'm talking even before that. I'm talking how to purify the bed water, not how to create the mikveh. But you're right though. Taisa says if he works to purify the water, then here also, what's the problem? In other words, this Maim She'uvim, the Rashi is so concerned about, the Maim She'uvim are in a jug inside the ocean. Even if by some not miracle, if we say that it's all still water and the water in the barrel stayed there, so what? But the touching on top. If it's touching the top or from the side, then it's good enough. And that Tosfos question. And I'm not going to all the question, and that's what he's saying. Hashoko, Tosfos points out you're going to afterwards parrots. We don't have time. Let's jump to the middle of Tosfos. Let me finish Tosfos. Lekach nire says Tosfos. Therefore, the Galsina b'mirsid of Yehuda Chovis Meleo Yain Upa. Tosfos wants to say a whole different gilsa. Tosfos says another version. We're talking here in the statement of Rav Yehuda, cup is full of wine, yeah, that fell into the ocean, and the wine is still contained inside, or so we're concerned. Let's continue in Tosfos. Also tvila. Therefore, the tvila doesn't help him. The mehayam kavu v'kaimi. The water of the sea are kavu v'kaimi. They're standing. They're not floating, moving. This is not some wild Hawaii beach. This is some very, still water lake kind of place. The Shema Adainu Tzovo Vomit Bimkoima. Shema, we don't know, but we're concerned. Maybe the water is separate and the wine is separate. And the gear says V'isel Einon Yikal. And you don't know if the wine is mixed or not mixed. V'toivel B'yayin. Maybe you're really toivel with wine. Aval Nahara, by the river, Be'am Eloi, Devadem Isarev B'mayim. V'az Lo Yabein V'oso Lo Tvila. When it comes to river, no question, river is gushing, it's strong, yeah, and therefore, for sure, the wine already drifted off, and what you have now is mixed. So he pointed to Kula Alma. I'm asking on Tosfos, what Tosfos himself is asking hiddenly. What do you mean you don't know if you toivel in wine or water? Are you chas v'shalom chalila blind? Can't you see if what you toivel inside is the red shirt? Chardonnay is red, right? It's a strong red. Yeah, it's not rosé. Red. Yeah, is it red Merlot or is it water of the ocean? Yes. Don't you see the difference? Why you choishish? Answer Tosfos, white wine. Umayri beyain lavon. We're talking about what one? We're talking about white wine. She'ena mishane. Mari samayim. It doesn't make a difference. You can't tell. It's very high inside the ocean. Yeah, you can't tell the bit of yellowish color that wine. If it was red wine, if it's red wine, you can tell. Am I right now inside wine? Am I inside water? Around you. If it's white wine, we don't know. So Tosfos argues on Rashi. Tosfos says it's not an issue of the Mayim She'uvim at all. The She'uvim that are inside the ocean, even if they stayed inside contained, and I have a scientist and Eliyahu Novi telling me that this Mayim are inside separate, so what? But the touching from the top, if them touching on top, that the inside became purified by the outside. It's all one big family. It's okay. It's not called shuvim for anything. Therefore, Tosfos must be inside is wine, white wine. Wine you can't be toivel. As much as you're right that FTF 40 saw, you can put wine. But if you're toivel in a separate barrel of wine that's surrounded by water, there hashoko doesn't help. There we don't say wine touched by water. It's all one big thing. No, wine is wine, and water is water. and therefore then wine would be a problem. And if it's white, you don't know where you're holding. So with choishesh, we're concerned. Perhaps you're really terrible in wine, and terrible in wine. Last time I checked, just doesn't work. Some people would like to do that, but that doesn't work. You end up with, you end up shikker, I think, also. Yeah, you have that. Yeah, in the Chinami. Yes, question. You okay? Yes, Baruch Hashem. Okay, I did not prepare the next Mishnah. We can give it a pilot trial and try and see what's going on. Okay, fine. Let's continue as a trial. Okay, I hope our Torah Time members don't mind. Says the Mishnah, Medinanu bish ploini. Two people came and said about someone, Mr. Ploini Almoini, Shechayev lechaver Masayim Zuz. Okay, that's a classical case. Our good friends Beryl and Shmerel, the Adim, they came and they said the Reuven owed Shimon 200 zuz. Okay, we know what that means already. What do they say? Loikin u'mishalmin. Wow, they get double trouble, double punishment. They get malchus. They have to get malchus. They get lashes, the 39. U'mishalmin. Why do they have to pay? What do you mean? What? Let's say some lokasher domam. They want to make him pay 200, and now they have to pay him 200. Now, why do they get malchus? Because of loy taneh beracho et shoker. Wow, the Mishnah is telling me there are two issues here. We know, we learned in the Beis Amud Beis that Edim Zoimimim, Edim Zoimimim, what happens to them? Which Avera did they break? Lotane Baracho et Shoker. One before last in the Sel Sadibus, the 9th commandment. Now, what happens when you over a mitzvah? Loitaseh, you get the malchus. But it's only verbal. There's a special limud that even though it's a lav shen b'maiseh, you get malchus. So there are two accounts here. You are over the lav of lotane, whether you zoimim, shmoimim, I don't care, you're a liar. And therefore what? Get the malchus. Chutz from them, on top of that, you also have the issue of Rasisa Lukasha Zamam, you get both malchus and tashlumim, you have to pay, because that's what you want to do to him. Are you happy with that? Are you happy with the fact the person also gets corporal punishment and also has to pay money? Or does it go against the grains of something that we learned many times, starting with Kim? Remember Mr. Kim? Kim Lay is Tim McKenzie's friend. Kim Lay, Bidaba Minei. We have a rule, the main sugi is in Ksubas, Lamed Beis Gimel there. It says what? A person never gets a corporal or definitely not execution and also pay the money, right? And here we say, yes, they get both. How come they get both? Says the Mishnah, Sheloi Hashem HaMevino de Makkos, Mevino de Teshlumin, Divrei Rabbi Meir. Because we're talking here about two different offenses. We're going to discuss it later, yeah, but basically they're definitely Shem. Where it says Rashi Hashem HaMikra. In other words, because they broke two different Averas. One Avera is Lotane, and it's not a different Avera. It's Avera Lotane. One is Lotane, and one is the Mekasher Zomam. The Malchus is Lotane. The Shlumin is because Vasisim Lokasher Zomam. It's two separate cheshbonos that happen to meet together. Yeah, but they're killed two separate accounts. We don't say Kimli. That's Rabbi Meir. Rabbi Meir. Chachamim say no. Chachamim say no. Once you have to pay, and you have to pay because of Kashal Domam, you don't get the Malchus. Let's see Rashi. Shelo Hashem Mechayv Malchus Mechayv Teshlumin. Look at Rashi, the Mishnah, the bottom of the page. Malchus Mishum Lotane. You get Malchus because you broke a lav. Everybody who breaks a lav gets Malchus. Lotane, bad boy, get spanked. But the Shlumin Mishum Kashal Domam, the Shlumin, because you wanted directly, specifically to this guy, you wanted to make him pay, you got to pay. Hashem Hamikra. Call him Shalom en Eloike. Oh, now Tanakama, Chachamim say no. Whoever pays Midin et Zaimim doesn't get the Malchus. Why? Why is that? Says Rashi. Dichtiv, it says, Kedei Rish Osoi, Mishum Rish Achas at Mechayvoy, Ve'iyat Mechayvim Shum Shtei Rishayois. That's Kimle for you. That's the source of Kimle b'Rabbi Minei. It says in that pasuk in the parasha there, you only hit him. Kedei Rish Osoi. Kedei means just sufficiently, just enough for his risha. You give him one risha per one sin. You punish a person per sin, per kedei, just enough for one sin, as opposed to two punishments. You don't punish him twice for the same sin. Not shtei rishoyos. B'maseches ksubot, daf lamed beis makshinan. V'nei makol aloike ena meshalem. Dilku kol ozomim v'lo yishalmu. Well, obviously, obvious question, which I had in mind, usually, what's kimle b'derabba minei? You give him the bigger punishment. Here we're working and we give him the smaller punishment. These Edim, they are menuvolim. They deserve a patch because of lotane, and they also deserve pay because they wanted to make him pay, right? So why do you give him the smaller punishment? Hey, that's not fair. Because kedei rishol soy kimle means you give him the bigger punishment, the malchus, not the payment. If you choose one out of two, the person was mechalel Shabbos, and at the same time, bechilul Shabbos, he stole from someone. That's the case in Shabbos. Daf Tzadi Aleph on the base in the bottom of the page. What happens when you drag some pieces of gold from your friend's Rishus Yochid straight to Rishus Harabim? Did you hear what happened here? 2 in 1, 2 for the price of 1. He's Mechalel Shabbos, but there's no Eruv yet. And also is stealing from his friend. What do you do to the guy? If there was a straw, kill him. Skila. And he doesn't have to pay his friend. He doesn't have to pay for the gold bar. Why? Because Kimla b'derabba minei. Very nice. The family doesn't have to pay. So now Kimla means the bigger punishment. Why are you telling me here giving him the smaller punishment? He only pays the but don't get them out. Yes, says the Torah. Shinin, and over there we answered in Ksubas. Over there, the Torah specifically is telling me that Edim Zomimim have to pay whatever happens, even if they have a bigger punishment, or we give up on the bigger punishment in this case. And then we have the drasha. Rashi says, leave us alone. That's a sugya in Ksubas. Basically, Edim Zomimim get a reverse kimli. Yeah, they deserve Malchus. Bad boys, Lotane, you lied. Secondly, you lied against him that he should pay 215.5 shekels. You got to pay 215.5 shekels. Yeah, quid pro quo. Here, we take away the big punishment and we leave him with a smaller punishment. It's a special reverse kimle. That's what Chachamim say. Rabbi Meir says they deserve both. Very good. Let's just continue the Mishnah. Read, please. Now, they were made that someone deserves Malchus. They said that someone ate Chazir, he deserves Malchus. But now there's Zomimim. Logim Shmoinim. They have to get 80 Malchus. Well, really, 39 times 2. Why? Mishum Lotana Bechot Shoker. Mishum Asisam Lokashal Zomim. Diva Abimeir. Abimeir says you get 2 sets of Malchus. One Malchus for the fact you broke Lotane. And the other problem is you wanted to give him Malchus, you get Malchus. Quid pro quo. The Chachamim say no, you don't get Malchus. In other words, Chachamim say that Kasher Zomam and Malchus Lotane, they don't live together. It's Israelis and Palestinians. And Kazadava. 1 second. And therefore, what do you have to do? Only the Kasher Zomam and not the Malchus, which in this case means 1 set of Malchus, not 2. It is Risha Achas, but the lower Risha. I don't know. I don't know. I hear. Atzachov Rocha, thank you. We see the Geula soon. Big victory. Klal Yisrael over the enemies. Beruchnis and Gashmias. Thank you to people on Torah Anytime. More viewers, and I hope tomorrow will be a better day and we'll get everything right. Bezos Hashem. Thank you to our YouTube members. Tomorrow's Friday. You can review on Friday. You can review on Shabbos. It's a big mitzvah. Back on Sunday. I don't want to say see you on Sunday because then I sound like a priest. That's what the priest say in the thing.